Hello everyone and welcome to Wowhead Weekly number 205. We recently had the 8.25 PTR patch go live, which means we've got some new models and other things to show you guys. And we also have the stress test currently launched, or I'm not sure if I should call it launched, but it's currently live for the World of Warcraft Classic servers. So if you haven't tried that, you might want to do that as well. Before I continue, I'd like to introduce myself. I am Annie Fuchsia, or also known as Annie, and my lovely co-host for the night is... I know that we just saw Luna, but she's not my co-host. My co-host is... Perculia.
Hi everyone, I'm Perk. It's International Cat Day, so very happy day to our cats, Luna and Brightpaw. We have a really fun show because we have a lot of data mining discoveries, and we wrapped up the last show right before they all hit. So this show we can react to all the fun models, and then we also have the classic stress test as mentioned, and a lot of 15th anniversary news as well, including some new merchandise on the gear shop. So we also have a giveaway. It's 30 days of game time. And because it is International Cat Day, the keyword is one word, Happy Cat Day.
Yay! Wowhead Weekly approves. Great word.
We also do a Q&A, so if you have any questions on the data we're talking about, we can cover that at the end of the show. Send the notes, send your questions to SAS. And the more you watch chat, the more nether shards you can earn, and you can redeem them for things like a Wowhead Rocket plush or premium subscriptions, pins, and some other goodies.
Indeed. I actually saw, I'm not sure if you were tagged as well, Perk, but somebody, I believe it was Swiggy Swoo, who tweeted that they got their pin, their Wowhead Weekly pin.
Oh, I don't think I was tagged. Yeah, I didn't see that.
I just saw that right before the show. There. Okay, Wowhead is tagged.
Oh, nice.
Wowhead is tagged, but you weren't tagged. There we go.
Oh,
there
also
it is.
looks like...
So it's really cute. I love it.
Nice. It looks like Thalos just redeemed a Wowhead plush with nether shards, so that's cool as well.
Yeah, well, there you go. Just by watching the show, you gain the points.
It's over in the background there.
You gain the loyalty points, and you use those loyalty points to redeem real things, IRL. Can you say that? Like pins and plushies. So not just virtual goodies, such as the giveaway that we had, 30 days of game time, but also IRL things that you can hold on to, pins and plushies, which is pretty awesome, I think. The nether shard system is great. And before we jump into anything, I'd like to thank the subscriptions that we had. We had Lincoln and Aegis both resubbed 19 months in a row. Thank you, boys, so much. That is getting really close to 2 years, which reminds me that it's almost been 2 years of me on Wowhead. Well, it's not almost. It's still a few months, but it's still pretty crazy.
It's like 18 months. That's getting there. I just saw the pin too. That looks super cute.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks really nice. It's adorable. I just saw that right before the show.
But yeah, it's your half-year anniversary.
Crazy. It's crazy. Time flies. We also have a 3-month resub from Grepster. Thank you, Grepster, for that. And a 10-month resub from Stevan. Is that how you pronounce it? I'm not sure.
Yep.
Isn't that the one? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I think that's your coworker. I was like, wait.
That's him, right? Because I wasn't sure about the spelling and Twitch name and everything, but I think that's him. 10 months. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah, he was running our data mining stream Thursday afterwards, which was a lot of fun, which we'll get into in the 825 stuff.
Yeah, 8.25.
So I think we should jump into what everyone was talking about, which was the new models. Before we start, a big thank you to everyone that was watching our data mining stream. We hadn't really done something like this before, and we just sort of did it impromptu after Wowhead Weekly with Stevan, like sort of
because it went live right at the end of the show, right?
It happened right at the end of the show, and we thought it would be cool to have our devs sort of showing how they get the information and sharing it with you guys as we write the news post up, and then our news team on voice comms reacting, and then hearing us decide what to prioritize and we thought it was a fun look behind the scenes, and you guys apparently really liked it too. We had so
It
many
was
people
really nice to see. Yes. It was
Yeah.
great. I went AFK a little bit, went off the computer to get something to eat and drink, and then when I came back, I just saw so much activity on the page. I was like, wow, this is amazing. That's awesome to
Yeah.
see.
So we want to keep doing that for other big PTR builds, and we're thinking of ways to improve, like maybe more of us can have our cameras and rotate them so you see more of us reacting, ways to get stuff even faster, because sometimes when you're on Twitch, you get distracted with things. So if we can make our process even faster, then that can balance that out. And like dedicated Q&A sections. So when we're waiting on the data, the rest of the team can give opinions on what we found so far and just being more organized about that. But I think it went great for, a first stream like that.
Oh, yeah.
And it's pretty different. So
for sure. I think it was awesome. Hopefully we see you guys do more of that in the future. More streams like that.
And Brightpaw even showed up and started meowing at one point into the mic.
Aww. That's adorable. Stefan just responded in the chat. I don't believe people want me to hear how I react on models and my complaints. What should be seen first? It's a big fight.
It's hilarious. Like, I had the idea to do the stream ever since we had this chat where he was like, oh, like the butterflies, should I do Rexar or butterflies first? And we just like we're all chiming in, and we realized we never posted anything, and the chat was hilarious. Oh. So like, we need to share this with people, how he could be showing the models, and chat decides which we're going to post first.
Yeah.
And you hear us being silly, arguing, and being like, oh, we actually didn't post anything.
TLDR, Perk always wins. I mean, Perk is always right. Like, do you have any example of when Perk is wrong? I don't.
Right, so like, I do.
Oh, that's awesome. That's great. With more streams like that, more memes are created as well, community being involved. That's really good to hear. That's awesome. Wait, did Perk just DC? Did I DC? Is the show still going? Wait. Perk did. Okay. All right. I'm just gonna put the camera on me. Oh. Didn't mean for the intro to go again. I'm just gonna minimize to see what's going on, and if I minimized, you can see messages. I didn't want that to happen. Let's see. How is your net? Also, we have it set on Central Europe, so let me switch it to US East in case that makes a difference. Oh, she's back, kind of. Hi.
Hi. I was like, why is no one talking?
Oh, okay. You didn't realize you were gone?
No, I was just like, yeah.
Okay, welcome back. Yeah. I'm not sure if your net went down for a second or if it was the Discord connection. I did change it from Central Europe to NA East, and it seems okay now.
Yeah, it says I have low lag, so
okay.
Yeah, I don't know where I got cut off, but basically, let's talk about Valeera first as the first model.
Okay. We didn't hear any mention of the models, I think.
Okay, so the reason why our stream was so popular was because we were highlighting new models for characters, and they weren't the usual characters, and there's a lot of hints where the story could go based on their presence. They were Wrathion, Kalia, Zakan, and Valeera, and I think we should start off by reacting to Valeera, who is the friend of Varian, and now a spy for Anduin, and she set events in motion that led to Derek being reunited with Jaina. So now she looks closer to her Blood Heroes of the Storm model, and obviously her ponytail is not yet finished.
Wait, I actually didn't realize the ponytail until you said it for some reason. Wow, what happened? Yeah. That's a lot of hairspray.
Yeah. I don't think they finished it. I think obviously it's not finished, but I think it needs more like physics added to it. I think Lorthamar had the same thing on the 8.1 PTR, how it wasn't finished, and then it had the same spike.
Yeah, Perk, we're gonna have to try to replicate this hairstyle.
Yes, I think you should. Next Wowhead Weekly. It's like if we Wowhead Weekly 300, our goal will be to have hair.
I can't believe I never noticed that. I guess I wasn't looking careful. Like, I was looking at the
You just thought it
the
was a
armor
new hat.
itself, I was like, that looks amazing. Yeah, I just didn't notice the hair for some reason. That looks funny. Yeah, it's like a weapon. That's her new sword,
Yes.
guys. It rests
She's
on her
gonna
head.
pull her dagger out of the ponytail.
Yeah. It looks great though. I really like it. It also reminds of the Hearthstone card, right? Or Hearthstone
Yeah.
hero.
So her art is more it's the same across like Hearthstone and Heroes and WoW now.
Mm-hmm. What's the word when they
Cohesive?
Yes, yes.
Consistent? Yeah.
Consistent works too. Yep. That's it. So yeah, her model is more consistent now across the different franchise, which is awesome. But yeah, I like it. I like it.
And then on the Horde side, Zakan, aka Zappy Boy,
Zappy Boy
has a unique updated model as well. And he was the troll that we first saw in the Old Soldier cinematic that helps inspire Sourfang, and then he helps us rescue. Well, Sourfang can take care of himself, but he helps intervene and warn us of Sylvanas' plans in tides of vengeance. And Sourfang tells him to go back to Orgrimmar and help, spread the rebellion in his absence.
Mm-hmm.
So he's got this updated model now. Still isn't super, armored. Still kind of looks like a young troll, but has a unique look now. And I think him with Valeera definitely means that the war campaign has to be continuing if he's going to have an even more important role and needs a new model going forward.
Yeah, because, I mean, Zappy Boy is already a pretty new character, right?
Yeah, he just appeared in the cinematic and then all of a sudden appeared in 8.1 for that one quest line, and now he gets a new model, so something big must be planned for him.
It's like a patch later and he needs a new model.
Yeah.
So he's clearly very important.
Yeah. I wonder if we'll see, like, if this could be hints for what the Darkspear heritage armor could be, because they haven't gotten one yet. And we could see, like, could this be what their shoulders will be with the tusks and the rings on the tusk and like the voodoo face on it? I'm sure they wouldn't give us Zakan's exact armor and it would be more flashy, but this could be hints as to what we their armor might go in. Yeah.
When was the first time we saw Zappy Boy?
In game or in the cinematic?
In general. Which cinematic was?
Because it was the Old Soldier.
Was that the first time? Okay.
Yeah, that was last August. No, wait. He was in the BFA intro cinematic. He was shaman that was able to get the elemental hit off. And I was like, oh, he's so cool. And then I think he showed up very briefly in the artwork that looked like him was in the Seething Shore Battleground.
Yes.
And then they removed him. And then he was featured in Old Soldier. And then the first time we actually saw him as the NPC in game was patch 8.1.
Okay. All right. So there's been a few. Do you think it was planned for him to become so important?
I think that Blizzard realized they had something popular with him and wanted to expand on it. I think it had to be planned all along because, art assets aren't cheap. And if they were giving him a unique model in the intro, I think they knew they wanted to reuse him in the future. But it definitely was convenient how everyone caught on to that. One. Like, oh, he got the hit on him. I love Zakan, aka Zappy Boy. We're gonna hype him up, and then it led to them doing more and more with him. It makes sense though, like, Sourfang, they're playing off like the old generation of Horde versus the new generation, and Sourfang, lost his son, and Zakan is like a stand-in for that. So it does seem very planned out, but it is convenient that the community like really rallied around him.
Because it felt like it was a random kind of like, oh my god, Zappy Boy is so cool. And then suddenly he's so important, he's in a real cinematic. Not everyone gets to be featured in those cinematics. Right. So it's really cool to see. And now, a patch or so later, he gets a new updated model. I mean, I guess that's awesome that he became so popular as just Zappy Boy from the first cinematic thing.
Yeah, it's also really nice because so many of the characters in BFA have their roots in Warcraft 3. And, like we've seen them forever. And, when you talk about someone like Jaina, you have her fans, but also detractors, and similar to Sylvanas. So it's nice when a character can grow up and be popular that is new to World of Warcraft. That, it's not like, oh, well, this character is popular in the heyday and Wrath, and that's why we still like it. It's good to know that characters can still
Be
be up and
created.
coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So then
Indeed.
things get more interesting with
Mm-hmm.
Kalia Menethil.
Yes. Updated model. Let's bring it forward.
So I'm curious what you thought of her because I know I read the lore and books more than you. Did this model make sense to you? Did you remember the events before the storm? Like, were you confused? Did you think she was cool when you saw this?
Um, so I think she was described in the text having white eyes and everything, right? But when I was like I since she was supposed to be brought back from dead, she looks very clean. But I guess that kind of makes sense because it's an important figure. Like even someone like Sylvanas does look good, even though she's supposed to be undead. It's not like she has skeletons and everything sticking out.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think she. I like this model. What were your thoughts around it?
So I thought she was really interesting. It reminded me of the Wowhead April Fool's joke where we speculated that she would be the leader of a race of lightbound undead, and we faked a model for her and character customization
Yeah, I
options for the
remember.
race. Obviously, this
Yeah.
is much better, but it sort of
Mm-hmm.
reminded me of that. And I like how you can sort of see her old model. Like it still has the same coloration of the gold and the white with the big shoulders, and I think the neckline is the same. So I like how they pay tribute to her human armor, but then made it even more epic.
Mm-hmm.
It does make sense that they want her to look otherworldly, but in a different way than Sylvanas, because if you did not read Before the Storm, basically she gets raised with the help of a Naru,
Yeah.
Anduin, and then an undead priest as well. So she sort of is like she's very holy infused. She's almost a different type of undead than Sylvanas would be, and she, almost looks like a statue
She's the
here with all
first,
the white.
right? Or is there anyone
Yeah.
else? Mm-hmm.
Well, they were talking about sending Derek to be like go to the temple to see if he was purified or under the influence of Sylvanas.
Okay.
But yeah, I think she is the first in this vein of undead that
Mm-hmm.
is not raised by Arthas, has
Mm-hmm.
the same dark forces willing her.
So what do you call this? Does it have a name yet?
I think she's just like light infused undead.
Okay.
We called it Lightbound as tongue in cheek because in the Magor Orc scenario, the light was sort of like evil, and the Draenei there were called Lightbound. So we were
Yeah.
like, oh, if we call it Lightbound, it will be like, are they good? Or are they like too tyrannical? Like, will something bad happen?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so there are also there's also the question of now we have another undead figure. Uh, will she want to take Sylvanas's place?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, will she have her own loyal following? Because what happened in Before the Storm, um, Kalia was trying to get the Forsaken to defect to the Alliance, and some of them wanted to follow and stay with her, and that's how they all ended up getting themselves killed.
Yeah.
So will Kalia want revenge on Sylvanas? Will she view herself as the rightful heir to the kingdom? If you look at her armor, she actually does have like the logo on her. Well, it would be her left, our right shoulder if you zoom in on that. So she's clearly thinking of her heritage.
Mm-hmm. And what will
Um,
Sylvanas say? What will she think of her?
right, because they're both undead now. So do they have similar powers?
Mm-hmm.
Also, I'm curious what people are thinking that didn't read the book. If I don't know, I know it was a bestseller, but I know there are millions of people who play WoW, and not everyone has read it. So I'm curious what people have thought of this model that didn't read it. Like, were you like, oh, like, is she undead? Does she look undead? Were people shocked by this, saying, what happened to her? I wonder if this made people go out and read the book or want to learn more. Because I
Mm.
can see, like, there's no mention of Before the Storm in game, really.
Yes.
There's just a
Wait, so is
few,
that
like,
what you meant with me, what I think? Because
yeah,
I didn't read it myself, but we talked about it, so it kind of
right,
feels like I
right,
have read about it. So, like, there
yeah,
was no surprise in that
yeah,
sense. Um, yeah, okay. Now I understand your question better.
yeah,
That is actually very interesting. And that's another example of how there's content outside of the game that also is affecting the storyline, which is really interesting. We have the cinematics and everything be played in the game, so you don't miss out on those. We had the Warbringers in the game too,
mhm.
but we don't have Before the Storm in the game. So that's a good
Yeah. I
point.
mean, we could see some cinematics or quests related to
Mm-hmm.
Kalia. Like, maybe we would see the Arathi Highlands moment as a cinematic flashback.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think at this point that a lot of people that are following. Well, so let me back up a bit. I was going to say that if you were playing the game
Mm-hmm.
and you saw this model, you might be confused. But
Yeah.
if you're someone that's following the data mining so closely, you probably already have read the book, so this model makes sense. But I
Mm-hmm.
do think that if you log into 825 and you see this model, you're going to be like, whoa, how did we get there?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I hope
yeah.
they have a quest
Uh-huh.
line to explain it more.
That's a very good point. Yes. Sometimes when I hear about the information, especially with being here, with having you tell us things that you read about, being on Wowhead Weekly, I'm sure a lot of people who watch the show feel the same. Even if we haven't read it, we kind of feel like we've read the most. I mean, like the main plot, so to say.
Yeah.
So we kind of know about what's going on, but we may not
Yeah.
know all the details, of course.
So there's nothing further with her yet on the PTR.
Mm-hmm.
But we will keep you posted if we find a quest or anything related to her. And
Mm-hmm.
she's another example of a character that was sort of always in the background, but we didn't know too much about her.
Mm-hmm.
And then, she was in the priest order hall in Legion as a disciplined priest, and that was
Mm-hmm.
cool, but it wasn't a starring role. And now she'll have her moment in the spotlight. So it's
Mm-hmm.
another example of Blizzard trying to
Mm-hmm.
uh, like, diversify and grow their cast, so it's not
Mm-hmm.
just the big guns like Jaina and Sylvanas. They're trying to bring new characters up to keep things interesting.
Mm-hmm. What was I guess even if we don't get a full quest line explaining everything, I'm sure we'll get some kind of dialogue where maybe she explains things to maybe another important figure or so to get an idea of what actually happened. I
Yeah,
guess we'll
there's
see.
a really vague dialogue after
Okay.
the Zara lore where Jaina is like, "Tell me what's up, Anduin," and he's like, there's an old friend of yours and something happened, and Jaina's
Mm,
like, "Oh, I'm going to meet her," and then they send Derek to her, so maybe there'll be a reunion with like
yeah. Uh
Kalia,
huh.
Derek, and Jaina at the Netherlight Temple or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So,
All
and
right.
then yeah, so we've got the fourth model,
Mm-hmm.
another character who is relatively new to WoW's history, not part of Warcraft 3. That yeah, he was super popular. We have
Very popular.
Wrathion now. Yeah. So
Way. Everyone loves this model.
I know.
It's super badass.
Yeah, it's like wow, Blizzard figured out how to give a character like curly hair, and he actually has a fashionable outfit. And when you watch his animations, his coat is lined with like this very elaborate pattern. So I'm like, oh wow,
Oh.
he has like amazing style sense. Can they put the coat on the Blizzard shop? So,
Yeah, it
but
looks amazing.
yeah, he is ridiculous. And Blizzard was kind enough to put his quest line actually on the PTR so we could actually see what's going on with him.
Oh, so that means we can get a little bit of insight into the lore.
Yeah. So for some backstory, he is we've sort of watched him grow up.
Mm-hmm.
He
When
is
was the
a
first
member of the
time that you
Black.
saw him?
So at the start of Cataclysm, we rescued his egg in the really super sad quest in Badlands.
Mm-hmm. No! Rip perk. Okay, give me a second. I'll let you guys watch Wrathion's model as I look into Discord to see what's going on. Let's see. Okay. She says she can hear me. Okay. US East should be fine, I think. Wonder if I can decrease the bitrate a bit. Oh, there we go. You're back, I think? Maybe?
Yep. Hello.
It's a little bit laggy. I can hear you, I think. Or not. Alright, let's try US Central.
Test.
That worked better. Okay. You're back now.
Hey.
Yes,
Hey,
okay.
sorry about leaving everyone in suspense. But yeah, so
yes,
we first
correct. We want to hear more about Wrathion.
Okay. So at the start of Cataclysm, we rescued the egg in a super sad quest line in the Badlands where the Red Dragon sacrificed herself and her own egg to keep the Wrathion egg secretive. And Wrathion is a black dragon whose egg was purified, so he's not corrupted and does not share the same fate as the rest of the black dragon flight. And he's made lots of questionable decisions since then, always very charismatic, even though in human years he's basically a toddler, but in dragon years he's aged super quickly. He did the legendary quest line, so as part of the quest line, he wanted us to kill the remaining black dragon flight. Then he wanted us to fight each other in Pandaria and did all sorts of weird things like eating the heart of the Thunder King. And then he got really angry that Varian did not wipe out the Horde and he went into a temper tantrum. And then he freed Garrosh Hellscream, which set the events of Warlords into motion. And he's like, this is for the greater good to fight against the Legion. But that didn't really work out too well. So he's sort of we go along with what he's saying, but in retrospect, it's very chaotic. It doesn't really make too much sense, and it has consequences he doesn't really seem to think about. And he was lots of hype in Battle for Azeroth because he wasn't present, but he was sending his agents to spy on us at Blackrock Mountain and in Nazjatar, and looking at Ebonhorn in the high mountain part of the Essence questline. So, what is Wrathion up to now?
At least we know how he looks like.
Yeah, after he bought his new clothes from somewhere in Borealis. That's like very culturist with like the long flowy coat.
Yeah, it's actually a very good point. I want to know what store he went to.
Yeah. So, we still don't find him in 825, but Magni, we still listen to Magni for some reason, even though it worked out super well with Queen Ashara. Ebonhorn is falling prey to the whispers of the old gods, and Magni wants us to find Wrathion. Wrathion, in his travels around Azeroth, was last in the Karazhan catacombs and has a potion that can temporarily cleanse the madness of the old gods. So in this questline, we go all around trying to find Wrathion, and he leaves his journal pages scattered around, and we learn what he's been up to since he disappeared a few years ago, and it's really interesting. And you can read it several different ways. So the TLDR is that he was in Dire Maul, and he wanted to learn about the Void experiments the Highborn did, and thinks that we could use the Void magics against N'Zoth. Then he goes to Pandaria and learns how they resisted the Shah, and he really likes Lord Walker Cho and the Shadow Pen, which is interesting because in Pandaria he was like, oh, they're so boring, like they're so lazy, like he was so impatient with them, but now he's talking about gaining respect. Then this sounded really bad. He's like, oh, I think the Forge of Origination is key, so I tried to go to the Vault of Archivon to learn more about the Titans, and it's like, that can reboot Azeroth. This seems really bad, Wrathion. Maybe don't use the Forge of Origination. So that's still a big question mark what he wants to do with that. And then finally he went to Karazhan and learned how to brew this potion, and apparently talked to the spirit of Medivh, who gave him this pep talk and was like, oh, even though you may do questionable things in your past, like you can secure your own legacy in Wrathion. It's like, wow, I've messed up before, and I've made some questionable choices, but I will fight N'Zoth, the true battle for Azeroth, and that will be the legacy of the Black Dragonflight. It's all very like, yeah, and feel good. But then when you reflect on it, you're like, does he really know what he's doing?
Yeah.
Because besides the Forge of Origination, that just sounds super bad. Like he's like, I don't know what it's used for, but I think it's important. And using the Forge caused Uldum to turn into a desert. And
yeah,
again, literally, like, if Azeroth is corrupt, the Forge will obliterate Azeroth. And Magni keeps talking about Azeroth dying, so it could wipe out the whole world. This seems really risky to be playing with.
Is anyone questioning Wrathion?
He's just writing this journal, and he's like sounding all heroic.
Okay.
And I think that you're meant to like go along because you're like, oh, finally someone that wants to fight N'Zoth and is like reflecting on their past and is apologetic and is trying to be mature and, you know, finally a leader. Yeah, but then you're like, wait, Wrathion told us to do all these other weird things. Should we listen to him? Like, he always was very certain of himself. And another weird thing was that he's talking about Medivh, but then when we go back into Legion, Medivh gave a similar pep talk to Khadgar at the end of the Karazhan dungeon, being like, oh, you're the Guardian, you got this. And we saw how Legion ended, where Khadgar was so like burnt out and depressed on everything. And Khadgar actually says in the Wound of the World quest that he's going to go talk to Medivh, go to Karazhan, and find a solution to the issue. And their solution was for us to basically destroy our artifact weapons. And it's like, was that really a good solution? Like, is Medivh kind of playing us? And Medivh even said in Legion that he couldn't help because he had a bigger path to take. So it's like, well, is Medivh being heroic? Does he want to have everyone unite like he did in Warcraft 3, being the mysterious prophet? Or is he still kind of like, you know, corrupted or doing something unknown right now? So when you think about it more, there's a lot of uncertainty, especially when you think of all the really questionable things Wrathion did in his past, including eating the heart of Lei Shen.
Yeah.
And he, like, it's really fascinating when you go back and you look at his dialogues with Anduin. I wish they didn't take these out. Basically, the whole legendary questline in MoP had him, Wrathion, and Anduin talking.
Oh, right, because that questline is not possible to do anymore.
Yeah, and had really good character insights that are all referenced in this journal. But there was really strange things, like at one point you get something called Crown of the Heavens, and it really sounds like the gift of N'Zoth. Anduin's like, why are you putting this strange eye on your head? And he's like, oh, he's like, with this eye, he's like, I'll be able to see what you're doing at all times, like a third eye, like, accept this wonderful gift I bestow. And I'm like, this sounds like Gift of N'Zoth here.
Yeah.
And then he talks about how, you know, he wants to eat this heart and he gets possessed by the heart, and he's talking about needing to rebuild a new world and doesn't remember anything he's saying. So you're like, is the heart of Lei Shen sort of corrupting him and talking here? You can't leave that out as well. So he did all this really strange stuff, which is even more terrifying when in human years he's 2 years old at this point, and he's just causing this gigantic mess.
Wait, he was only 2 years older?
In human, so dragons age differently than humans. But, you know, it's like, yeah, like he hatched from an egg in Cataclysm, and then in MoP, he was like causing all this mess.
So how old is he now then?
I think he's 5.
5, but he looks like an adult.
Yeah. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you think that's time for us to trust him 100%? Believe in everything he does? No.
No. I mean, the last time we saw him, it was in Warlords of Draenor, where he was just sort of like hanging out in the background, and still causing trouble. I don't like freeing Garrosh and saying, oh, I did this so we could fight the Legion seems really bad, especially when after all that, we just send Archimonde straight back into, you know, not Archimonde, we sent Gul'dan straight back into the main timeline, and Gul'dan was able to like open up the Tomb of Sargeras and let the Legion free. So it seems that whatever his plan was colossally backfired.
Yeah.
Like, it did nothing to stop the Legion. They appeared at the end of Warlords of Draenor. But it will be interesting when he meets up with Anduin again, because if Wrathion wanted to prevent the Legion and his actions led to the Broken Shore, that led to the death of Anduin's father. So that seems really awkward, especially because the two of them were kind of friends, even though they were sort of like, good cop, like bad cop, like, odd couple, like, buddy duo in Mr. Pandaria.
With Wrathion, okay, he's only 5 years old now, but could he potentially breed, like, and create more black dragons?
I feel like, so I don't know. When you start getting into dragons and family history, it's actually pretty disturbing, because it's a lot of like, oh, this dragon was captured and forced to breed, and it's very dark. So I don't know if Blizzard would want to go down that route. They haven't really recently, but when you look at like Syntharia, it's like, oh, she's like deformed because of Deathwing mating with her, and you're like, oh,
okay.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's it's getting kind of weird and dark that way. But I will say that Wrathion does have a 180 if he's going from I want to kill every black dragon to
I want to
like,
breed
oh, let's work together, and I'll make a potion for Ebonhorn, and he's writing a note being like, oh, Ebonhorn is like my brother dragon. So like, oh, so that's nice how you don't want to just obliterate everything, I guess. And even has a line being like, oh, Medivh told me about being possessed by Sargeras, and like the agony he went through being mind controlled and resisting. Like, I wonder if Neltharion went through the same thing. And it's like, oh, like that's very good awareness, Wrathion, instead of assuming that, all the dragons were evil, and, instead of thinking they're bad, now Wrathion's like, oh, like maybe they tried to resist, or, they were like possessed, like maybe it wasn't their fault. So, yes, I feel like even if he doesn't have a great plan, he has more character awareness than he did before. But I don't know if I don't know if using the Forge of Origination is the best idea when it can destroy the world.
Yeah, that seems very, very risky.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll be like, oh, I won't destroy it. I'll just, like take this potion I was brewing and make the forge, corrupt only the bad parts on a big scale, and it will be fine. It's like, no, like the forge does really bad things. Like Uldum was a jungle, and then when they activated the forge to save it from Lei Shen, it turned into a desert. So it's like, yeah, maybe not mess with the forge, Wrathion. But yeah, so I have a whole article talking about Wrathion in the notes. We have one that's the walkthrough, and then one talking about what he could be up to. I had a lot of fun writing it, so definitely check it out.
I'll link them in the chat as well.
All 4 models are up in the model viewer, so you can do stuff like make Wrathion dance, or Kalia flex at you, all sorts of poses. They're all really fun.
Yeah, so. I think a lot of people like looking at the Wrathion model. So there you go.
Yeah. Based on our site analytics, I would agree. On Twitter, everyone's just like losing their minds.
That's why we had to ask the important questions, if he's able to breed. The very important question. But anyways, moving on from models, we have a I don't know if I should call it a leaked, not really leaked, but we have a picture of a Durotar warfront, possibly. Let me bring this picture forward. There it is. So is this Durotar warfront actually confirmed at all, or is it just a picture that we found?
This is a picture, and it looks like Siege of Orgrimmar, but it had the name Durotar Warfront, and Blizzard hid it in a few days later. So I think it's coming, though. I think between the name Durotar Warfront, the Zakan model, and the Valera model, it implies the war campaign is escalating in a big way.
Wait, so this is actually identical to the Siege of Orgrimmar picture?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't realize. I thought it was just similar, but I didn't realize it's exactly the same. Okay. All right. So the important, or the surprising thing here is that it's called Durotar Warfront in the file name.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. So And there was previously, like way earlier, there used to be strings for an old Baron's Warfront, and Blizzard's like, oh, we just use this for fun. But I don't know, there's a lot of theories that, you know, we're going to try to mount a campaign against Sylvanas, and Valyria will be there, and Zakan will be there, and there's some hints like Sourfang's model has a texture for his necklace. There's a hint that like Sourfang could be wearing his son's necklace, and like he could be there. But it seems Blizzard wants to keep this under wraps. There's nothing in the broadcast text really talking about this. But I think that it will be the next part of Sylvanas' story.
You know what's funny? Sorry, go on.
What? No, go ahead. Tell me what's funny.
Like, we always said about the Sylvanas story, Siege of Orgrimmar 2.0, and now it's quite literally Siege of Orgrimmar 2.0. But yeah, sorry.
I think Blizzard is like trying to like, you know, troll us and be like, oh, you know, subverting expectations, you know, like this isn't what you think it is. But it's
That's actually hilarious.
I hope it's not exactly the same, but at the end, Sylvanas just like disappears. That would be awkward.
That is actually hilarious. Just realizing that. Like, bling. Wait a second. When we said Siege of Orgrimmar 2.0, we didn't mean literally, Blizzard. Did you just make it literally?
Yep.
That is funny.
So I feel someone must be trolling, but I do feel it would be interesting if with this Warfront, if they made a Warfront, if it wasn't the Alliance fighting the Horde, but if it was the Alliance fighting like her loyalists and the Horde doing that, and they both meet up together at some point at the end. But I don't know, the Warfront, I feel like the Warfront is kind of lackluster in getting across like important story moments, so they need to make the flow better if they want this to be a Warfront. I feel like a raid would be
cat here.
Warfront.
Oh, hi Luna. You never come and say hi to the camera. Why is that? Why don't you say hi to the camera?
Hello, Luna. Hello.
Hey. Hey, look at that. That's Perk. Do you see her right there?
No, she doesn't want to look up.
Hi, Luna.
She's looking down.
Aww. Luna.
Why are you looking down for, Luna?
Right, Pa, come back. Luna's here.
There we go.
He's off somewhere.
No. Okay.
Aww.
All right. Yeah, she was kind of playing around with my foot, so I just carried her. And now she's on the table, and now her hair is flying everywhere. Yeah, sorry, I got a little bit distracted there. Yes, cool cat. Cool cat. Where were we?
Yeah, there's not too much to say about the Warfront besides just speculating and how it does really seem to be literally Siege of Orgrimmar. But we also have some not as much speculation news, which is cool. We have the updated Worgen and Goblin models that are all on Wowhead's model viewer, and we've got some pictures comparing the old and new versions. There are some like other new faces, but we just wanted to show old versus new here. So let's look at the Worgen first.
Yes, so we got Worgen female right here. This is the old model, and then I'll swap it over to the new and updated version there. So as you can see, it's a lot nicer texture, and all of the colors from before are there, just updated. And we have some close-ups as well. I think the close-ups look better in terms of comparing the
I think
to the new.
The face one especially is good.
Yeah. Here.
I think that people have been mixed about the updates, but I think people have been most happy about the female Worgen update.
It looks amazing.
And thought that the faces were different enough, but looked better. I know with goblins there was some disappointment that they all look kind of cartoony and the same, but I feel the female, the Worgen have more personality, so that's good.
So this is the old face and transforming into the new one there. So as you can see, it's a huge difference. But you can still see that it's the same face as before with the patterns and the fur color and everything. So it looks really good. We also have some hair pictures. So old model here, and then transitioning into new model here. Only showing some of the hair, not all of them. I decided to pick 8 so that I could zoom in a bit. And I think those are all the pictures for the Worgans. We also have male pictures, actually. So we've got some male faces here.
Yep.
And then the new and updated versions of that. There you go.
So I think people were pretty happy with these. I think that the males weren't as bad shape, but they look better now as well.
And we've got the overall skin picture for the male as well. So the top one is the old one and the bottom one is the new one. Yeah, there's a lot of all of them are updated, all faces, all hairstyles, everything. We've got cat here again in my face. But yeah, I think the changes are great for the
they even have a few new faces, like I think the Death Knights get a version with a scar on them, which is cool. Kind of reminds me of how Kultiris allied race has that as well. But yeah, so if we look at Goblin, I'm not as thrilled, especially if we show the female goblin face, because if you look at the old faces, they all look unique, like they have different colored lips and eyes, but then when you look at the new ones, they look really similar. So I think maybe these weren't as in bad shape, and I think maybe in making them all look cutesy, they took away some of the individuality.
All right. So here's the old ones, and then we have the new one here. I feel like the old one wasn't... They weren't... Oh, okay, no, I see. I see what you mean. Like, they all actually look the same in the new one.
Yeah.
Except eye colors.
Yeah, like the fifth one over on the first row looks a little older, but a lot of them have the same color lips, and the old models have different color lips, and that adds their personality.
Like the bottom ones here that you can see in the picture, the bottom three to the left, for example, you see the one in the middle looks really old compared to the other two, and then you have the green lips, the sort of skin or like green skin color lips, and then you have the purple ones, and then with the new one, if Luna allows me to click this, okay, there we go. Luna's decided that my hand is her pillow. There you go. So the bottom three there, you see that they are basically the same face.
Yeah, like if you look at their eyebrows and how it interacts with the bangs, it intersects differently, but that's all basically...
Yeah, good point. The eyebrows are slightly different.
Yeah. That's the only way I can tell they're different. So, I don't know. I think that the old ones had more personality, and I feel like goblins would be the type to have, like, different color lipstick. So I like how the old ones had sort of a nude color and then a dark green and a dark brown and a purple color. And I feel like you lose that a bit with the new faces.
The ears do, however, have the same kind of differences as before. They look basically the same, just updated with the new pixels. So that looks okay. And what else did we have for them? The hairstyles. Let's see. Yeah, the hairstyles also look pretty good. Here you see the old models, and then I'll transition into the new ones, and you'll see that it covers all the different hairstyles with just better texture. So that's okay. But yeah, I do see what you mean with the faces, though. I didn't realize it before, but it is a very good point. A lot of them have lost their uniqueness to them, so they're kind of blurring into each other rather than having unique faces.
Yeah. But this is the early PTR, so if you do have feedback, you can send it in to Blizzard, and Blizzard has tweaked the allied races before, so maybe they will tweak these before they go live. So, another small detail that was actually surprisingly popular was that the Stormwind and Orgrimmar embassies have new NPCs in them.
Yes.
all the famous NPCs are gone. So like you won't see the racial leaders there giving you quests to recruit the allied races, and instead you have representatives from each allied race, and then the Pandaren leaders are the ones that give you the quest for all of the races. I think this makes narrative sense because it was weird being like, oh, Mechatork is encased in a block of ice, but also hanging out in the Stormwind Embassy, or like Tehran's in Darkshore, but also here.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a lot of speculation that this could be a way to maybe set up transition into more flexibility between the factions. If you have these very neutral Pandaren NPCs in charge, it could mean that what happens if in the future the allied race could be Alliance or Horde. Now it makes more sense that this panda is welcoming you as opposed to a character that has a lot of beef with one faction or ends up perhaps dead by the end of battle for Azeroth.
Mm-hmm.
So this could be by putting NPCs in charge that are very peaceful. If the factions do get reworked, it would make sense that these NPCs are in charge.
The pictures rolling right now are the new Stormwind ones. The pictures right before were the old Stormwind ones. So this is the new and updated version. Then we also have pictures for Orgrimmar. So this is how Orgrimmar used to be. You see Bane there, Lady Liadrin, Eitrigg.
Yeah, it's super weird that Bane would be there.
yeah, considering the story. And then the new
Bane
Orgrimmar is like this.
Hanging out.
Yeah. There it is.
So I think it's a small, subtle change, but I think it's a good change, and I think that updating the world more frequently is healthy like this, so there's not a story disconnect. And, like if you are a newer player, this will be your first, you're going to see Stormwind and Orgrimmar, and you don't want them to be confused by the story being like, oh, everyone's one big happy family and hanging out together. Oh, actually, the story's totally different.
Yeah. Like, whoopsie, this is not actually updated.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so our final PTR thing is the bee mount.
Yes,
setting
updates on the bee mount.
A buzz.
We now know the official name for the mount.
Yep.
Or was that known before?
No, it wasn't. This is the Honeyback Harvester's Harness.
Mm-hmm. That's how it looks like in your journal. Mm-hmm.
Any Alliance race to use. So Alliance only.
Oh, it actually requires. Okay. Because I wasn't sure if it would be one of those where you play the Alliance to unlock it, but then you can use it on Horde, but I guess not.
Yeah, I mean, it could change, but right now in the journal, it has that little Alliance icon next to it.
Okay.
So there are a lot of interesting things you can do. You need to earn Honeyback Hive reputation to get this mount, and there are a lot of fun things you can get along the way, such as the glyph of dire bees, and it makes your dire beast summon dire bees instead. The butterfly net, where you get a net and you spin around. There are battle pets related. Oh, there are hats you can put on your bee pet, like a minuscule fez and a princess hat. And you can put these on bumbles, so you can dress up the bee, kind of like you can dress up Pepe, which I think is super cute. And yeah, basically you need to collect this thin jelly as a currency, and then when you go to the beekeeper, you can trade it for better jellies to feed to your nascent harvester bee, or to you can trade these for the bee items. The quest got some rep tweaks on the PTR this week, but yeah, basically go to Stormsong Valley, do stuff with bees. There are some new butterfly bee pets as well related to Stormwind. Stormsong, not Stormwind.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's also I hope people aren't scared of bees, because I'm a little scared of bees, and reading this I'm sort of like, bees, because it's all like Barry the beekeeper is like, I love bees, like bees are amazing. You know, some people like dogs or cats or horses. Me, I like bees. Shame
Oh,
about that
no.
allergy, though.
Shame about the allergy.
Yeah. So I guess it's I don't know. I hope people aren't scared of bees that are working on this.
I hate bees, but I don't mind them in pixel forms.
Well, that's good because you'll be finding a lot of bees.
Yeah, that's okay. As long as they don't come out of my monitor, I am 100% fine with it. And if they do, I have a Luna that will eat them.
Would Luna eat them, or would Luna be like, "Oh, it's a bee. I should be friends with it"?
I mean, the only type of insects I've really seen in my apartment are moths and daddy longlegs, and she eats those. So I don't know if she would think that a bee is more cute and needs to be spared. I don't know.
I guess if it's cute, then she would think it's a toy.
So she would still punch it around then.
Yeah, yeah. So you win
so
either way.
she'd still kill it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's about it for PTR. Reminder, giveaway going on, 30 days of game time. The keyword to enter, one word, Happy Cat Day.
Mm-hmm. Save the bees. Happy Cat Day. And we also have a resub from Tenno20, 18 months in a row. Thank you so much, Tenno. All these boys reminding me of how long I've been here. Thank you.
So, shifting gears a little bit, there's some data mining for the 15th anniversary, and there's also some updates for it, mostly good, some controversial. So let's start off by talking about the merchandise collection on the Gear Shop, since that was pretty well received overall. Blizzard has a new section on the US shop, and they have some new collectibles like a 15th anniversary jacket and mug, and they brought back some old favorites with Jinx that you may still have in your closet that's sort of threadbare, like the Molten Core, like heavy metal shirt, the Murloco taco shirt, and the green linen shirt.
I really like the mug.
Yeah, I know a lot of people were like, "Oh, I've held on to this for 15 years and it either doesn't fit or it's sort of threadbare or it's getting blurry. I'm so happy I can like buy another one. You know, 15 years ago I couldn't buy as many clothes. Like now I can, you know, afford to buy another shirt." So
wait, the Murloco shirt is 15 years old?
Yeah, these are all super ancient stuff. And apparently I thought the Molten Core shirt was new, but apparently that was old as well. And I was playing in vanilla, but I didn't really have like a ton of dispensable income to be, you know,
it makes sense, of course.
Like, getting on shirts, but I'm like, oh, like that was a thing.
That's really cool. What about this green linen shirt? Is that new?
I'm not sure if that's new. I know they had apparently someone is saying that they bought the green linen shirt and Molten Core shirt from Hot Topic in Burning Crusade and Vanilla Days.
Okay. Gotcha.
I feel really old. Someone was like, "Is Hot Topic even a thing anymore? I haven't been to one in a decade." And it's like, "Oh yeah, it's still around." It used to be super goth and they moved into like more nerdy merch, and now they do a lot of like Disney stuff because I guess all like the edgy people like grew up and I don't know, moved into being more nerdy collectors. But yes, that's just all really funny. I think it would be cool if they added more items to this. Like it's a cool start, but I hope they add more things. Like I think it would be really cool if they took some of the characters that were really popular before the shop got big and gave them a high-end licensing treatment. Like you know, like maybe they could bring back a Lich King statue, or they could have like an Onyxia skater dress, or Funko Pops for, you know, I don't know, like Kael'thas, like all the characters that were really big before the modern day Gear Shop came into existence, before Blizzard made, you know, tons of plushies and all that. I think that would be neat to see some of the original characters get that treatment.
I just realized that my Kultiris shirt that I'm wearing right now is on this as well.
Yeah, that was weird how they included that in 15th anniversary, because that's not like Kultiris is very not a thing in classic World of Warcraft.
Maybe it's so that some of us can pretend like we already have some 15th anniversary merch.
Yeah.
Yep. Hot Topic just released some Sailor Moon shirts today. Wait, so Hot Topic, I'm wondering, I remember doing an IRL stream. I'm not sure if any of my followers are here who can maybe confirm with me. There was a store that I went to that had really cool t-shirts. Was that Hot Topic? I mean, wait, what's it called? Is it called Hot Topic?
Yeah, it's called Hot Topic.
Okay. Does it sell? Yeah, okay. It was Hot Topic in LA. Okay.
And Funko Pops, yeah.
Yes, I noticed that they had a whole wall full of Funko Pops.
Yeah.
It was a really cool store, actually.
Yeah, so they used to be like super heavy into goth stuff, and they still have some of that. But they've, since, the audience has since grown up, so they've, obviously diversified, and that's why they do more, nerdy stuff that people collect that aren't edgy all the time now. So they have Funkos. I think they have, like, they do a lot of like licensed Disney merch. So whenever like a new thing comes out, they're like, oh, I'll buy the dress inspired by the character, or buy the fashion collection inspired by that. So I still buy stuff from them. So yes, Hot Topic is alive and well, to the commenter on Wowhead.
Gotcha. Yes, because I got reminded when Super Sugar in chat mentioned Sailor Moon, because I remember in this store that they also had Sailor Moon shirts, and I thought that was really cool. That's not something you see very often in Sweden.
Yeah, it's really funny because to me, I'm like, oh yeah, Hot Topic. It's like the weird shop that they have at all the malls. Like, it gets to be like the one weird store. But you're like, oh,
and I'm like, what is that?
In Sweden. So
we definitely don't have that in Sweden. Well, I'm not sure if they've opened some new ones and I just haven't noticed, but they definitely didn't have it when I was growing up and going stores a lot.
So, but yeah, I would love to see. I'd love to see more items. Kind of get the Hot Topic-esque treatment as part of the 15th anniversary. Like, I made a tweet about this and people were saying they would love to see, tier 2 robes or hoodies, more things related to classic or the original armor sets. I
can imagine people wanting to buy those for the launch time of classic, because I can imagine a lot of people landing together and having like launch parties and all that stuff. So that's actually a shame that there's not more unique things like that. Realizing that, well, okay, I guess this merch stuff wasn't really a classic celebration. It was more 15th anniversary. So I guess that changes things a little bit.
Yeah, but if you're doing like nostalgia stuff, it would be nice if they had.
Yeah, I think they could have done a whole like merch line with just classic things for people to be more hyped about the launch.
Yeah, also I'm seeing a lot of people in the comments saying that, they're going to buy these t-shirts because their old t-shirt, it was a super big deal to buy it and then it's falling apart. But to me, that means that people have more spending power now. So it would be nice to see some like higher end things as well. Like, I have so many hoodies. I'd love if there was like a fitted shirt that had a tier 2 pattern on it, like a turtleneck that I could just wear as a nice shirt out. Because it's like, well, I've been doing this for 15 years. I should be able to go out and, show I'm a nerd and have my nice fashionable thing on and, be out in public with it. And, like I don't just want to wear like a oversized t-shirt as, my 15th anniversary thing. So I would like to see more creative merch. And I know they've done that before. Like, they have some skater dresses. They have some nice jackets with lace insets that they did back in Legion. And I would just like to see some of that creativity as well. Also for the people that couldn't buy the Ragnaros statue, we'll get to that in a second. For the people that couldn't buy it but who like collecting things, so maybe they want like a really amazing looking 15th anniversary Stein, or they would get an Arthas statue, or they would get like a Lady Onyxia, action figurine. I just feel like there's more opportunities to cash in on the nostalgia for the people that like are really passionate about the early expansions that didn't collect as much merch back in the day because they were, broke college kids, and now they're not.
Exactly. Because I think that feeling of people not being able to afford things, which was like 10, 15 years ago, is probably for most World of Warcraft players, because a lot of us, a lot of the people who played at the time were probably teenagers, maybe young teenagers, maybe older teenagers, maybe, the few very young adults. And most people don't really have spare money like that to just spend on collectibles. Whereas now, when it's like 10 to 15 years later, people are, 20 plus, maybe even 30 plus for some people. So it's a lot more spending money that people have that they would be happy to spend for their favorite game as nostalgia pieces.
Yeah, I also feel that for a lot of people that were playing as like older teenagers or young adults, like WoW was very affordable. It was $15 per month basically. So, if you're like a broke college kid and you're like, okay, I can play WoW for $15, or I can see, I could like going out and having like a nice meal or seeing, 2 movies or something, that is easily more than $15. So I feel like some people maybe like WoW was a way of their entertainment that was very budget friendly. So now you have a lot of people that are like, yeah, I'm like really passionate to WoW. I can never buy a lot of stuff back in the day, and now I have more spending money.
Yeah. I mean, for me personally, one of the reasons why I started playing late is actually because I couldn't afford a subscription myself, and my parents would never pay for that. And I'm sure like there was a lot of people out there like that too, or maybe that they were able to convince their parents for the subscription but nothing above that. So I think for a lot of people you can now suddenly spend money on your favorite game, whether it's in a different form like a shirt or a cup or anything like that.
Yeah, which kind of brings us to the darker side of the notes, which was one of my friends, and people were realizing today that Blizzard was they oversold their Ragnaros Collector's Edition and were just sort of silently canceling people's orders today without emailing them or letting them know. So
oh yes,
that is not good.
No. So that means that people ordered it and it went through and they paid for it and everything, and then months later they're told like, sorry, it's not going to be produced for you, basically.
Yeah, the people who bought it from the gear shop back in May, they're now checking their inventory. They're now going on my inventory and they're just saying like, oh, it looks canceled.
That is that is a bit of a yikes. That feels really bad actually, because especially because it did sell out, so people who got their order must have been extra excited, like, yes, I made it, but then like, no, you didn't. And you can know that now months later. I mean, I guess this kind of thing happens, but it is still sad.
Yeah, and Blizzard has been releasing them in waves, so I know on Target Target was put an order up like a few weeks ago, so you might be thinking, oh, I already got mine from Blizzard, I don't need to get this at Target. And now everyone's like, oh no, Target sold out as well. So if people had known back in May that they couldn't get it, they would have made other plans.
I like how there's a discussion of cinema tickets and prices, like a comment in the chat, $15 doesn't get me a cinema ticket here.
Exactly, like it just keeps growing and growing now, and so I remember like, WoW for a month or one ticket, you're like, well, yeah, I'm gonna play WoW for a month. So
of course, if you're choosing between those two, then
and you get to socialize with people. I mean, you might have assholes, but like you could do something with your friends and it would be fun, as opposed to being by yourself and maybe being like lonely or feeling awkward going out for more expensive.
Yeah, I know that it would probably cause a lot of complaints, but considering inflation and all that, it would actually make sense for subscription price to go up, but it doesn't feel good as a consumer, I guess you could say. So it would cause a lot of riot, but it would technically make sense, and I guess that's why there's a lot of other things on the side, like mounts and all that stuff.
Oh yeah, that's a great transition.
The mounts and the pets, they were actually increased, right? A couple of years ago.
I don't think they were. I think they've always been sort of nice round numbers. Like the pets are always 10.
Yeah, I think the pets stay the same. The mount used to be 20 and they increased it to 25.
Interesting.
I think that's what happened.
I feel like maybe I just blocked the controversy out of my mind because I'm not remembering it, but I'm sure that caused a fuss. So. I know they increased the character boost cost. And I think that the base game has increased in price as well.
I think the pets stay the same, but the mounts went from 20 to 25. Something like that.
I'll take your word for it.
I might be wrong, but I think there was an increase. I remember, speaking of cinema tickets, speaking of mounts, but speaking of cinema tickets, I actually remember as a teenager, I would go do these like silly surveys and stuff, and you do these surveys and then they give you cinema tickets for that, and that would be like my way with my friends to like collect cinema tickets and go watch movies. I don't know if you have them in the US, But you just go
We
and
had
like
something similar where like in college people are like, oh, if you need extra cash, go to the psych department and just like complete a survey, and then they'll just give you like money at the end of it, and just like, you can make a nice like you can pay for your meals that way.
I remember when we discovered those surveys, we just started doing those if we wanted to go to cinema. But yeah, just a random fact on the side since we're talking about cinemas. But yeah, speaking of mounts and
and costs and things to buy. So as part of the Ragnaros box, with the statue, you would get a code for alabaster mounts that turn into a griffin for the Alliance and a wyvern for the Horde. They're purposely not really colorful because they're meant to look like statues.
Mm-hmm.
They've got like little gold glimmery bits on them. And this week, amazing timing with the collector's edition being canceled. Notices. Blizzard. They said they were always doing this. They put the alabaster mounts on the shop, similar to every other collector's edition, where if you don't buy the box or it's sold out, you can at least get the digital rewards component. And these are again $4.25. And if for some reason you buy these mounts and then you get the collector edition box, you can get a discount, so you're not essentially paying double for the mounts. So I feel like a lot of people did not realize this was part of the collector's edition, because everyone's like, oh, another shop mount.
Yeah. I know a lot of people also giving bad responses saying, oh, like one shop mount isn't enough, so you have two now, like 2 times $25. But I think it is the case that if you buy one you get both, right?
Exactly. It just changes based on your faction.
Yeah. And I'm not a big fan of store mounts either, but this is because it was part of the bundle for the 25th anniversary. I mean, I guess it could be argued that it's pretty cheeky since a lot of them were cancelled, apparently. Not a lot of them were sold. So most of these mounts will be bought from the store directly. But yeah.
You can always use WoW tokens to get these mounts. And if you do the math, these mounts are less pricey than if you were using like the token to gold conversion to get something like the like a long boy or the rust bolt mount. I think there's also confusion that people are getting this mixed up with the mounts that are for free as part of the anniversary, because people are like, oh my god, to celebrate the anniversary, like I need to pay for a mount. And it's like, well, you get the Deathwing mount for free if you do stuff. You get these AV mounts for free if you do something in game. If you log on and do nothing, you get a little Nefarian pet. And I just saw a lot of people being like, oh, remember when Blizzard used to give us, things for free for anniversaries? And it's like, yeah, you still have that.
This get both, yeah.
A different thing. And I mean, I think it would have caused more of an uproar if you couldn't get the mounts. Like, suppose Blizzard had the Ragnaros box, and then people thought they were getting these in-game rewards, and then the box sold out and it got canceled, and they're like, oh man, I have no way to get these, and I just got the box for the mounts. I'm a mount collector. I think that would also cause an uproar. So I think it's what Blizzard has been doing since MOP, basically, just having the digital version that you get the rewards and that's it.
Apparently SAS found that the increase in prices on mounts from 20 to 25 was an EU only thing. So for NA it's always been the same.
Oh, I can't wait for NA to have the increase in a year or so and have that be a total disaster.
Wait, so what are the mounts now? 25 for you guys?
Yes.
Okay, and it's 25 for us, and I think the euro is a little bit more expensive. Oh god. Okay, Luna is using my hand as a pillow, and my hand is on the mouse, so it's making the mouse do very weird movements.
Aww.
Oh god. There we go. Oh, okay. Let go, Luna. All right. Awesome. Great. Okay. She almost moved the whole overlay, but we're safe. We're good. If you're wondering how she is, let me give a quick glimpse of her with Perk in the background. Aww. This is her hijacking my mouse, and that's Perk. So it's kind of impossible to use my mouse right now, but that's okay. No need to change scene as of right now, at least. Yeah, so the alabaster mounts, the 2 statue mounts, are the ones which went straight to the store. We have the 2 mounts, as Perk mentioned, from doing the Ultric Valley. And that is a Horde version and Alliance version. I'm not sure if you have to unlock them on both sides in that case, or if you get both for unlocking one.
Yeah. So we're not sure. There's some currency involved, and it looks like a lot of the old AV rewards are coming back with max level versions. We haven't really covered that super in detail because we don't know the exact details, but we'll have a post coming on all that.
Yeah, when that's available.
But yeah, you have to. I assume you'll have to win AV a few times to get enough currency to buy the mount if they have like, not so cool rewards data mine. So I assume that maybe 1 token gets you the offhand and 5 tokens gets you a mount, but I'm not exactly sure. Did someone just type Luna in our show notes?
So she managed to write a lot of plus signs, and I think Sass asked like, what was that? I was like, it was Luna. And somebody corrected me writing Luna to put a capital L. Thank you. It's quite difficult to type. But yeah, she's just hanging here. She's okay.
Yeah.
And and as a last reminder also, we have one more mount. The Obsidian Worldbreaker. AKA Deathwing mount. Let's bring that picture over in case you forgot how cool it looks. Whoa. Okay, Luna. Careful. Alright.
Good cat.
She just suddenly jumped. Did you see a ghost, Luna? Let's see. Here we go. There it is. And because the PTR is also live, we have actual pictures in the Wowhead model viewer. And this is how the mount looks there.
Yeah.
There we go. So, how do we obtain this mount?
So, Chromie will send you back in time. There were 3 different wings to the event. Based on an Activision article, they claimed this will be available in LFR, not time walking difficulty. And each wing is themed around an expansion. So, Burning Crusade is Kael'thas, Lady Vosh, and Archimonde. Which makes sense that there's no Illidan because now he's a good guy, apparently. Wrath is Hygen, so the safety down sky. Anubarak, the end of Trial of the Crusade, and the Lich King. And then Cataclysm is Cho'Gall, Nefarian, and Ragnaros, which is funny because Ragnaros is, obviously big with classic WoW, and Ragnaros is also the end of Fireland's time walking, which is coming after the 15th anniversary event. So you have to defeat all 9 of them, and then you have an achievement that you complete, and you get the Obsidian Worldbreaker mount.
Yep. That's what you gotta do.
The flavor text is, I have had many names throughout history, all of them spoken with dread, Neltharion, Zazax, and many more. Yet you shall know me best as Deathwing, for so I am. I am the bane of life, the darkness within history, the lord of death, the master of destruction. And I tell you now, and so it is true, that the world is mine. Neltharion, the Earth Warder. Which is really interesting timing with, Wrathion sort of appearing as, like, I'll be like the helpful Black Dragon. So, lots of Black Dragon lore in coming back.
Before we move on from the anniversary topic, we had a little point here too, in case people forgot, to buy collector's editions or to buy the new mounts that are now in the store, or to buy anything really on the store in general. They can be bought with gold by swapping them over to a WoW token, and that way redeeming money onto your Battle.net balance. So just a little pointer for anyone who plays a lot of WoW, is able to make a lot of gold, but would rather not spend their IRL money. This is another way of being able to obtain these things.
So our final point, sort of related to the anniversary, was we learned a little bit more about Warcraft 3 Reforged. China Joy is this big digital event in China. It's where they revealed the Sarafang cinematic last year. And I'm like, which brooding character will they focus on this year? and it is Arthas. Blizzard worked with Infinity Studio to release a life-size statue of Arthas's Warcraft 3 model. And this would be super cool to have like a little version. That would be amazing.
Yeah, the statue is awesome.
Yeah. So I hope they release a version as part of the 15th anniversary that we can get for ourselves.
As you chat, come on, I want this in my room. Do you really though? Like, imagine waking up and then you see this big thing with a huge weapon.
Be motivated to get out of bed.
Like, I'm not sure if I want to sleep anymore. No, I need to get up. But yeah, it does look really cool. It's really well made.
Yeah. I'm not sure if Blizzard put up press images of this, but apparently there were some leaks floating around that they were showing off new models like Thrall and Tyrande as part of Warcraft 3 as well, and they all looked really cool. So I hope they reveal more on it because we haven't gotten many details, but whenever we learn something, people are super hyped. Like, people were losing their minds over the statue. And so I hope that goes on sale.
That would be cool if they could have a mini version of this as well.
Yeah. So we've got a few WoW Classic things to touch on. We know a lot of you are probably wanting to play the global stress test, or maybe the servers weren't amazing, so you're hoping to come back later on tonight. But a cool bit of news is that there are RP PvP realms coming to WoW Classic after Blizzard said they wouldn't be. So that was a bit of nice news.
Oh, that is awesome. They actually said no, that they weren't planning to do it?
I think, well, when they first announced it, they were like, oh, you know, we're going to have this type of realm and this other type of realm. And people were like, oh, well, what about this? And Blizzard, I don't think they officially said no, but I mean, when they were like, these 3 realms are coming, they're like, oh, well, obviously the 4th realm is not coming. And I think people weren't sure because the RP PvP realm was added in patch 1.8, so it wasn't at Classic launch. It was designed to allow role players easier access to PvP because PvE and PvP servers have different rule sets, but it sort of also led to like a Wild West type of vibe where there was a lot of, you know, ganking going on, or RP felt very risky, but also maybe realistic that the enemy could come in at any time and disrupt it. So it was kind of a chaotic environment, and they will be adding these for North America and Europe on the English-speaking realm as well.
I feel like the Classic team has been really good with feedback and getting things changed in time for the launch. Like, I remember the languages not being planned at first, and then they added different realms for different languages. They had the different phases for Classic in general, like the timeline, which was also changed. They added it to, they split it up in more phases, which a lot of people were very happy about.
6.
Yep.
Yeah.
RP PvP realms, it feels like there's a lot of community feedback, which is, you know, making it into the real game before it's even launched, which is great to see.
Yeah. As mentioned, the Classic pre-launch test is going on right now. It started at 11 a.m. Pacific, so that's 4 hours ago. And it will end sometime on Friday, August 9th. You just need a current subscription or active game time to hop in, and you can level up to 15, but you will not, none of this goes towards like a head start on progress or reserving a character name or any of that. This is just for fun or to help Blizzard test the launch conditions. So yeah, also it's not meant to be like early access. If things are broken or frustrating or there's a long queue, that is what Blizzard is testing. It's purely to help test the login server stress, the new layering technology. This isn't meant to be like, oh, like we're giving you like a free day to like play and, you know, like, you know, have a relaxing experience. So the goal is to get this out of the way, so when you are playing WoW Classic for real later in August, it will be a smooth experience for everyone.
Hopefully, yes. I know that for a lot of people, the servers were locked, or they were stuck in queues, or they were stuck in weird layers where they would kill things, but it wouldn't be registered. But yeah, it's what happens on these kind of stress tests, and hopefully the data from today will make the launch a lot smoother.
Yeah. There is one more thing to look forward to, and you may want to use the stress test to prepare for this, is that character name and creation reservation is coming Monday, August 12th at 3 p.m. Pacific, which translates into the 13th midnight for Europe. And you can reserve up to 3 names if you have an active subscription or game time on your WoW account. And you can have a maximum of 10 characters per WoW Classic realm, 50 characters across all realms. Blizzard still has to release details regarding realm names and realm types later this week, so you can figure out what realm to start on. Because, you can't really transfer easily.
Nope.
And another thing causing some stress is that you can't really change your character appearance as well. So there's a race of like, if you're getting your name, will you be able to, you want to also replicate what you want the character to look like very quickly. So you might want to use the stress test to like memorize all the appearances that you want. Like, oh, I want like the second face, but I want the 4th hairstyle, and do all of that planning now. So when the reservation comes up, it's like lightning fast.
That's actually a very good point. Yep. You want to be ready
and
with that.
You can use Wowhead's dressing room to mess around with characters as well, because you can save all the combinations and circle through all the hair colors and all that good stuff. But yeah, I mean, obviously the realms orb, you can do that on the creation screen now. So
yeah.
Go ahead.
You go ahead.
No, I was done.
Okay. Something that I noticed, or actually it wasn't me who noticed, but people told me that they noticed, and then I confirmed it by trying it myself. If you're logged into retail and you log into classic, it DCs you from retail.
Oh yeah.
So it seems like you're paying for one subscription, right? So I'm not sure if this is intended, but it seems like it's intended. You choose your WoW account when you log into Classic, so they are basically connected. It's like logging into a separate character on the same account, so you can't actually play both at the same time.
Right.
That was really interesting.
Yeah, I wonder why they did that. I think there's some economic implications. I think Gumdrops wrote an article how the gold making community was a little disappointed to learn about that. I'll see if I can dig that up.
But, to learn about this, that they share the same.
Yeah, I don't know if they were thinking that like they could be doing something in one version of the game while like I don't know, like AFKing or farming on another, like alternating stuff. But I know some people were sad to hear that.
And which this also brought another question. To myself. For example, I currently have 2 subscriptions running on my account. Actually 3, but it's relevant even if you have 2. Does that mean that we have 2 separate classic accounts?
That's a good question.
And does that mean I could reserve 3 names on one account, 3 names on another account, and the 3 names on another one if I have an active subscription on all those accounts?
These are like the blue post they made was really short. Let's see,
because I know it probably doesn't.
It just says per WoW game account. That's all they say.
Yeah, then it sounds like you would be able to. So if I have 2 accounts, I could play classic on one and retail on the other.
I just thought of something weird. So what happens with character name reservation if you're worried about preserving your name but you also want an appearance? Suppose like on your second account, you reserve the 3 names really quickly that you like.
That's true.
And you don't care about what they look like. You just preserve the names. And then
you can delete it when you have the other account ready.
Yeah, delete it when you have it ready, when there's less of a rush. And then like make the character with the appearance you want now that you have slightly more time.
And
I wonder if
also,
Blizzard's going to put like a cooldown on names so you can't, delete it then reuse it again. But that would be interesting if you could do that.
I mean, if they would add a cooldown, that's just good for you, because that means on your main account you can instantly just take it, right?
Right. Yeah.
Another thing is if you have one classic account, pick Alliance characters for a server, then you have your second account pick Horde characters on the same server.
Oh, yeah. That would be interesting. Yep.
That's also kind of game changing. I don't know. Yeah. It was interesting realizing that you get disconnected today when you log into the stress test.
Yeah. But yeah, so we still need information on realm names and realm types coming later this week, because obviously you're not just making the character, you're also picking the realm they are going to be starting on.
Yes. So they'll release their
it's
realm names beforehand, so you can plan with friends, guildies, whoever you're planning to play with, what server that you would potentially be playing on, and you can take it from there.
Yeah. Another interesting thing, I didn't put in the notes, but this ties into it. Blizzard added more classic forums this past week, including a forum called Classic Connections, where you're meant to find old friends from the vanilla era, which ties in with how you're meant to find the friends, so you know which server you're going to play with them on.
Yeah.
So the timing seems a little late, especially because, you know, there are a lot of community sites out there already doing this sort of thing, but I see what Blizzard was trying to do, releasing this right before the finding.
Definitely.
We've got a few little things to cover, but I think we're good for last call on the giveaway.
Yep, last call for giveaway. 30 days of game time.
Keyword is Happy Cat Day.
Happy Cat Day in the chat to enter the raffle to win the 30 days of game time in WoW, which at this point would also give you access to Classic because it's less than a month away. So there you go. And we also had a Prime subscription from Mav Hunter X. So thank you very much, Mav, for supporting Wowhead. Yes, Happy Cat Day to get 30 days of game time.
So there's a image SAS dropped if you want to start pulling that up, but we have some more. Awesome. We have some more classic posts coming on Wowhead. We added random enchantments to our item pages. We've added how talents modify your stats to our gear planner. We have a few more things coming. We're currently untangling stat weights in our item filters, so stay tuned to the site for that. But one really cool thing that's coming that you can use to show your classic Wowhead support is we have pins coming to our store very, very soon. And here they are.
Pins. There they are. They look really good with a dragon lining thing around them, and Alliance and a Horde representation.
Oh,
right
it's funny how you said that.
Is it not meant to be?
It was meant to be the Wowhead classic look with the black and red, and then the Thoughtbot colors and the dragon is the Thoughtbot dragon that you see in the O.
It's funny. I read it completely opposite, or not opposite, completely different. I just saw it as like the rare tag, you know, in game, and then like Horde and Alliance. But that makes sense. That's awesome.
Yeah, so I guess
it's got two meanings.
Levels.
Yes,
exactly.
Yes, the more meanings you can find, the deeper of a WoW veteran you are. There you go.
These are they're pretty limited in stock, so get them while you can. These won't be for sale as part of the Calm Before the Storm Kickstarter or prizes. These will just be available on the shop. So first come, first serve.
I saw a question in chat. Okay, Sass already answered it. Whether people will be able to buy this in person. So I was going to ask if it's something that we are planning to have at the Wowhead party later at BlizzCon.
Like there's a very limited number of these.
So and you're planning to keep it limited?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just like with like costs and stuff. It's just easier to keep these limited for now, unless they, I don't know, if they sell out in a day, maybe we'll do more. But the idea is to keep them limited for now.
Gotcha. Well,
so
there you
never
go.
Say never. We're actually trying to work on party prizes this week. Fingers crossed to get that all sorted out. But yeah, right now the idea is to have these pins be on the shop and not part of the prize wheel.
Gotcha. All right. Well, the giveaway should soon have a winner. Keep an eye out on SAS148 in the chat. He will probably announce the winner for the giveaway. And this is sort of starting to wrap up the show. Before we end it, though, we've got a question from somebody in chat.
Yeah.
From Jamail1991, who asks, any estimated release date for 825?
I think it's going to be very late October because the anniversary event is part of 825 and that's November. So it has to be live by November. And I think that Blizzard's going to really want to hype up the anniversary event at BlizzCon. So they might have demo stations where you can, I don't know, like play the Chromie event with your friends or queue up for a V together.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that it's all going to be 15th anniversary for November.
Mm-hmm. So it would make sense if it releases at the end of October, then it might be slightly staggered, and then it's up there in time for BlizzCon and 15th anniversary.
And I could see Blizzard announcing the name of the new expansion and having it be totally wild and out there. And then instead of going into a lot of expansion details, maybe just talk about a few things, but focus more of BlizzCon on what's happening in 8.3, because we really don't know how Battle for Azeroth is ending. And I think they want to make 8.3 some gigantic reveal where we finally learn what is going on. So I think we're not going to get any 8.3 or major story info,
definitely not
until BlizzCon.
Yep.
Maybe they'll like tease new models, like, oh, look, here's Wrathion, here's Kalia, but I don't think we're getting details for a while.
Mm-hmm. No war campaign updates, no nothing, unless there's something in 8.25. But 8.3, I think they'll save everything about 8.3 for BlizzCon.
Yeah, I don't think they want. I think they probably didn't even want the Siege of Orgrimmar. Maybe they did. I don't think they want like people to data
find
mine.
That so funny.
Yeah. I mean, maybe they want that to build hype, but I don't think they. I remember with Legion, there was a quest that was like the quest description. It was like Varian has died, and this was before realms were up, and everyone was like, "Oh my god, we learned he died!" Like, I don't think Blizzard wanted people to learn about Varian's death that way.
Yeah.
So I don't think they want people to learn about some major plot point in 8.3 that way either. They want it to be a big reveal on the stage.
Yeah, I think so too. I think there's something special about being at BlizzCon and hearing of awesome, cool news with everyone around. It's just, everything is so much cooler that way. It's like, it's an epic feeling. I mean, even before I could afford going to BlizzCon, I would watch the panels, like, with the virtual ticket. And it's really cool. It's awesome being around other people who are as hyped as you are about, a video game, and having those announcements planned for those dates is definitely the way to go. Hopefully no mobile game announcement as a main announcement, right?
Yeah. And you can also, it's good to hear the devs explaining things, and then there can be interviews clarifying it, as opposed to like, what does this map mean? Oh my god, like, let's panic. So it's nice when they can talk more freely. Looks like we have a winner.
We do. Death Dragons, congratulations. He also responded in the chat, which means it has been claimed, and everyone's happy. Oh, well, Death Dragons is happy. Other people may not be as happy, but hopefully you're happy anyways. We'll have more giveaways. We do give away every show, so.
Yeah, we also, with Classic coming up, we might be doing some more Game Time giveaways. We thought about Mouse, but we're like, I don't think that works for Classic, so.
I think Game Time is perfect for this.
Yeah, because then if you get the Game Time, you can pay for the subscription, and then you can get Classic.
Indeed. And if you already have Game Time, you just add it onto your current Game Time, so it feels the most fitting like that.
Yeah.
Well, that's about it for today. We had.
I wonder what we'll have for next week. Will we have a PTR? I guess we'll have the character creation will be done. By next week. So we'll have that.
It's actually so soon. 1, 2,
I know.
less than 3 weeks.
Yeah.
1, 2,
I think the official site has a countdown now.
Oh yeah.
When you go to worldofwarcraft.com, if you, at least on the US site, they have this little banner that appears: WoW Classic global release in 17 days, 23 hours, 51 minutes, and 45 seconds.
Nice. Well, there you go. Now you can have a tab open with the countdown in case you'd be interested.
Yep. So
yeah, we covered
I think
8 to 5 models. We talked about Wrathion. We talked about Siege of Orgrimmar 2.0, quite literally. The new Worgen and Goblin models, embassies, the B-Mount updates, 15th anniversary, and the classic updates. And that's about it from us for today.
Yeah.
If you missed any of the show... Sorry. If you missed any part of the show, this will be uploaded to YouTube tonight, so you can catch up with everything there. You can also watch it here on Twitch as a VOD, whichever way you prefer. And you go ahead, Park.
I was going to say, just to thank everyone for their support of the data mining show last week. We never know when Blizzard's going to drop them, but we are trying to do another data mining show whenever there is a large, sizable build. So if we ever learn what's going on with the Warfront, then we will do another data mining stream. And we really appreciate all the feedback people have been giving. We want to make the other data mining streams in the future even more fun and engaging, and have more people talking in chat and answering questions. So thank you again for the crazy support. I think we were like #1 in the WoW section. It's pretty nuts.
It was a really good stream. Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah.
It was great.
We were like, it was like very hype, but also very chill. And I like that it focused on like the content versus us. Like we sounded fun, but it was, I liked it was like the hype was about seeing the new models, not, like did people personally like me or my coworkers. So it was cool to just be very happy about WoW.
Yeah, it was awesome having people around. They want to know what's going on. Want to know the updates before anyone else, right? And Luna just typed a bunch of stuff in the document.
I see. Hi, Luna.
She's soon gonna take over my mouse. But yeah, thank you everyone for supporting tonight, watching Wowhead Weekly, and the other day watching the data mining stream. And as Perk said, hopefully we'll be able to have more data mining streams so that we can see the process and just seeing everything first. I think that's what was most exciting for most people, because if you watch that data mining stream, you will see literally everything before it's posted as news. So then you're definitely first, which is cool.
Yeah.
Live news are always very cool.
Yep. So that's about it.
That is it.
Or high five.
Yeah, if Luna allows me. Yeah, okay, there you go. She is waiting for a belly rub.
Aww.
Let's go for a high five.
All right. 3, 2, 1.
We did it. Nice.
Yeah.
High five success. Well, for me, it's kind of low, but still a high five. Yes. Right, Luna? Maybe one day Luna will do a high five with me. Maybe one day.
That would be cute. We have like a
Does
Luna
Brightpaw
and
do
high five. Oh god.
Right? Both like holding cats.
Paws up. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Luna is pretty difficult to hold. She gets too wriggly. Doesn't want to be held for too long.
You saw Brightpaw earlier. He's like,
So. She doesn't mind being carried if I'm walking, but if I'm sitting still, she doesn't want to. It's like, human, this is way too boring. I want to move. I don't want to stand still. She likes it when I carry her and show her the outside in the window.
A treat for International Cat Day.
Yes, that is actually true. That is a very good plan. Yeah, we will see all of you guys again next week, same time. Hopefully there's some new stuff for us to show you guys. And if there isn't much, that's okay. Then we'll be here to let you guys know that there isn't that much, which is still news. You know, any news is news. Yeah, we'll see you all next week. Thank you so much for supporting here on Twitch, subscribing, just watching, following people on the Wowhead page as well. Thank you for all the support, and we'll see you again next week, same time.
Yep. Bye. Have a great week. Good luck preserving your character name.
Yes, good luck.
Yeah.
Good luck. Bye-bye.
Bye.